So, one of the most misunderstood things in the world is this thing called media. And media is very ubiquitous because everything in this world right now depends on a certain form of media or a certain form of medium. And this is just an introduction to media. I know that I say I have uh, some few things to share, right? But it's also because um, the media is like something else. The way that it's controlled, or the way that it's run, or the way that it works, it's it's a very massive scheme. So first, I want to just explain media as a person, and then I'll explain media as a place, and then I'll explain media as an industry. So let's go to media as a person. And this is 10. As you can see, it's all marked up because I read this chapter quite a lot. But here is the first person called media. So now these are the generations of the son of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were the sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. And if you already missed it, already it's talked about media. So media is Madai. That's where we get the first person called media. So now it's important here in let's make it green. All right, no, let's make it back. Let's turn it back to blue. So here, chapter 5 in blue, it's important to understand that media as a person is a Gentile because Madai is the son of Japheth, and by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, and in their nations. So now we've heard about the person, but the person was divided into a certain land. And now let's look at media as a land. So here we go. We're on Madai, and this is the Wikipedia page. The reason I use Wikipedia is because it's just the encyclopedia. This is like how the information is just disseminated. So we could go deeper into information, but this is the surface level information. So that we're on the same page, let's go on this page. So Madai is the son of Japheth, one of the 16 grandsons of Noah in the book of Genesis. All right, so let's look at the map. So this map is going to tell us a lot. So as you can see here, it says Japheth, and this is Mount Ararat. This is where they descended here, right? Meshech, Magog. So we can see that this is the Caspian Sea, and the further north we go, this is like northeast, that's Russia. And then Madai is right here, as you can see. So this is the actual land, okay? And then these are the other sons. So this is where we get Shem, and this is where we get Ham. But Shem and Ham are Hammed. But that's a whole other issue that we can talk about separately. Right now, we're going to just talk about media, okay? So let's just look at the associated nations in the land. So when we talk about media, we now talk about the nation or the national or the land of the Medes and related Iranian nations. So this is where the whole world or word media comes from. Biblical scholars have generally identified Madai with the Iranian Medes of much later records. The Medes, reckoned to be the first offspring by Josephus, and most subsequent writers, were also known as Madai. Okay, so this is very important because we're going to go into a lot of more information. Now, here, if we also look at media, we can also start to talk about the Medes in the vein of Haman, which is here we have Hamadan, but then Haman is found in the book of Esther, which is a whole interesting story about the Persians and the Medes. So here we also see this interesting story about how they are part of the Kurds, which is part of the Medes, and then the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, so let's see what this says. So Medos and his mother Medea were first also reckoned to be ancestors of the Medes in classical Greek mythical history. So, so this is all right. Let's all right. I'm trying to Google the place, but then this is Medea. This is in the Greek understanding, and this is also where we get Medea in how Tyler Perry being that. Like this is actually the inspiration because he is a median in the sense of how he is a media billionaire. But then Medea is also a land, okay? And this is fascinating. Okay, so let's say media. Okay, let's say map. So you see, this is just how it's there, but you know, media. It's there, but it's like hidden in plain sight. So these are the things that like you just need to dig into, you know, because now I have to like click a lot. But then I think I just got the spelling a little bit wrong. Maybe it's Medea, but then it is the land of the Medes. All right, let's do this. Mede map. All right. So, wow, it's such a tiny picture. But let's try to see if we can zoom in on it so that we can see this land that they're trying to hide from us. But this land is where all media comes from. And okay, here we have the Persian Empire. So the Persians and the Medes. Why is it not opening? So I'm clicking on it. Wow, okay, there we go. Zooming in on it. So here we have, this is the word media and Persia. So it's very important to understand that this is actually a land and a place. So media starts in Genesis as a person called Madai. And this person also is known throughout the generations as an ascendant, a descendant, an ascendant. Yeah, there is a descendant and descendant, but then it's also the same person who is going to be named in the story of Moses. The Midianites, the Medians are also in the book of Numbers. The Midianites are also in the story of Abraham. Abraham actually marries a Midianite woman. And that's also where we get this woman, Keturah, having two children, one called Medea and one called Medea as well. But then it comes from the descendant of Madea in the son of Japheth. So this is just to understand that at the end of the day, we have to realize that the Gentiles and the Hebrews were brothers after the flood. And then they were also hemmed again through marriage because Jethro was, Jethro being the father-in-law of Moses, he was actually a Midianite priest. So what is interesting about the Midianites, what is interesting about media, is that it is this tool, it is this school, it is this person, or it is this land that is used as the power of governance. So when you look at the story of Moses, the Midianite, this was the person who came to him. All right, fine. When you look at the story of Moses, first, he met Japheth's, was it his brother? Not Japheth's brother. I think Jethro's brother or son-in-law. And then they were walking together. He was trying to find directions in the wilderness, and then he was the one who knew the way. And he says something mysterious, because when you read the Bible, what you're reading is not just like, it's something that you can read on so many different levels. But then what he says is something so mysterious. Let me show you what he says. So here I am. This is Numbers 10 And then I'm going to start reading from 29. So it says, "And Moses said unto Hobab, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, We are journeying unto a place which the Lord said, I will give to you. Come thou with us." So he's saying, "Would you please come with us, and we will do you good, for the Lord has spoken good concerning Israel." So this is Moses trying to tell him that God has said good things about us. So if you're with us, you're going to be good, okay? "And Hobab, he said unto him, I will not go, but I will depart to my own land, to my kindred." So these are the kindred that we're talking about in the sense of the man, or which is the ancestor, their great ancestor. Verse 31 is what we're concentrating on. "And he said," this is now Moses saying, "Don't leave us not, I pray thee, for as much as you know how we are to encamp in the wilderness, and you may be to us instead of eyes." Okay? "And it shall be, if you go with us, it shall be that what goodness the Lord shall do unto us, the same will we do unto thee." So I want us to concentrate on this line, which says, "You may be to us instead of eyes." Yeah, so that part happens so fast that if you blink, you might miss it. So what's happening here is the description of what we call media today, which is something that actually governs the eyes. Okay, everything in terms of media is what governs the eyes, and it is actually the Midianite who is now being called, "You will be our media. You will be our eyes." So like you might not have gone to Fiji, but you can go on the media platform and your eyes will see it. This is the same concept that's being used here. This is the same concept that is used for media. You might not have been to America, but you see it with your eyes through media. So they were in this wilderness, and this Midianite was going to be their media, their eyes. And just like how you're seeing this with your eyes, it's media. So this is what the media is all about. And then this is how Jesus now comes and says, if your one eye is whole, if your one eye is light, if your one eye can see, then you have this sight. So this is what the media does. The media is the sight. The media is out of sight, but the media is everything, is our insight into the whole world. So this is the introduction to the secret world of media. Media is so powerful. It gives us the insight of how we see things, and it also reflects back to us. But then it is so subtle that in everything that it does, it is in the middle. It is not something that is in the front, but then it is in the middle, in the sense that we can actually see everything with it, but we actually don't know we're seeing everything with it. So when you read about the Midianites, when you read about media in the Bible, it is so hard to see it. It is so difficult to see it because that's how it operates. That's how the media operates. That's why the land of media, this land Medea in the middle of the Middle East there, like people don't even know it exists. Or if they know it exists, people don't pay it any attention because you're like, oh yeah, media, or like whatever. But then that is the art of media. That is the power of media, that it is there, but it is not there. It is seen, but it is not seen. It is the eyes, but then you can't see your own eyes. The same way that you can't see your own face. You can only see like a video of it. You can only see a reflection of it, but everyone else sees it. But that is the media that everyone knows you by. And that's what it is. But you'll never, ever, ever, ever see it. You can't. You can't see it. You can see a reflection of it. You can see a picture of it, but you can never see your own face. So media is like that. Media is something that is like everything, but then it is also something that is something almost like nothing. It's almost invisible, but it makes everything else visible. So when we go through media in the Bible, There's so many things about it that give us so much insight if we know what to look for, if we have the sight. But it is not something that everyone is going to see. So this is the power of media. So media has shaped the insight or your sight or your view of the world. So this is why I brought up Jethro in the first segment of the video, which was to talk about Jethro's advice to Moses. So Jethro's advice is one of the key the key things that happened to Moses to change his way of viewing the world, which is what also influenced all of the Hebrews, which is what influenced us as the children of the light. Because what Jethro did was to tell him how to govern, how he can see everything without seeing everything, how he can do everything without doing everything. And as we go into, this is just the introduction of media, but as we go into media, because here we're looking at it in the first parts, like we looked at it in Genesis and in Numbers in the Torah, right? But then like when we go into media, as I mentioned, we can talk about Haman, we can talk about Esther, we can talk about other people, because you can't see it, but it's everywhere. But then that is the subtlety of it. And I feel like the most interesting place to see it is through what we call the medium of exchange, which is money. So the Midianites created money, by the way, in the Bible. And but then that's besides the point. But then I'm just fascinated about the Midianites, but I've never ever heard about them, and I'm now sharing them with you. And this is just like the introduction. So I wanna finish this up, and perhaps I'll just talk more about some other fascinating facts about media, perhaps even the medium of exchange. But as I was saying, what they did to Moses was to shape how he sees governance, was to shape how he sees the world. And Jethro's advice is what made Moses create different groups of people, which is to create a government. So media today is still how we are able to create governments through what we call elections. We see whatever they do with our eyes through the medium, and we are able to actually govern through what we see through medium. Is also what's written. That is a ballot is also written. All of that governance is media. So that is also part of how it was created in the Bible. Believe it or not, like media governance, the way that it is today starts in the Bible. But the way that it is today in terms of party politics is not in Genesis, but it is in the book of Daniel. So this is where they're also Midianites, Babylonians, and this is where the governance of politics starts. So the governance of politics in terms of parties starts with the one group of Daniel and his three friends, and there was another group, another party, who started to use the medium of the law, which was the laws to govern. They used that as their own group, as their own party for political gain, in order to get them cast into the fire by making them change the laws according to the Midianite understanding. So yeah, this is a very vast, fascinating topic about media, and this is the introduction. So let's get deeper into it. Any questions about it, I hope I'll be able to respond to them, because everything about the media, because in closing, I'll say that the media is good and bad. So we have to learn how to use it. And believe it or not, it is actually instructed how we use it. And the instructions are in the book of Jeremiah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just giving you the overview, so that you can get all the information, because why should I hoard it? So you can find the instructions of how to use the media properly. in the book of Jeremiah, but I'll be explaining all of those things in due course as we go through this step by step. So this was the introduction to the secret world of media.